Yo, what's good, YouTube? In today's video, we're going over the top 5 metal loadouts you guys should be using. And as always, man, if you guys enjoy this one, give it a like, make sure you subscribe, and let's get into it. So first thing is going to be my tactical here, which I tend to run as a stim shot. And if I don't want to run that, I'll probably go for something like a smoke grenade, and that'll be good to go after that. My lethal, normally speaking, goes with a throwing knife because I play Resurgence, and it really helps out to be able to, throw it at someone on the stairs, get it down on that, or just even be able to finish somebody off without having to waste some ammunition. It does come in pretty handy, so I like to go for that. But if not, I'll throw on like a Semtex, and that'll be good to go as well. For my perk package here, I switched up a couple of different things here. My perk package here goes as follows. I have double time on, I have Mountaineer, Quick Fix, and Flex. I firmly believe that you guys should be using Flex here to be able to actually hear more in-game audio. People frequently ask me, how is my audio so loud? And it's primarily because of Flex. There's no audio tuning here on my game or anything else like that. This is a great perk package to be super aggressive. You can switch out maybe Quick Fix for Tempered or Mountaineer for Sleight of Hand. But you can pretty much always run double time in Flex. The rest of it's a little bit interchangeable. So let's get into our first gun here, which is going to be the BP-50, which for whatever reason doesn't want to show up. Let's hop into it. So this is going to be my first attachment on this gun. That's going to be the VT7 Spiritfire Suppressor. So this right here is just a really great attachment because it helps us with our recoil control, keeps us off the radar, helps our bullet velocity, and of course our damage range. All really great things here to be able to have on this gun. This gun just works out beautifully. It's an absolute laser beam, and I'll even show you guys here afterwards in the firing range. It's just super good to be able to use. I just firmly really enjoy it, and specifically with this variant too, because it has a little bit of that laser effect to it. But now let's get up in here to our next attachment, which is going to be the Lore-9 Heavy Barrel. This is the largest barrel we got for this gun, and we're trying to obviously use this as a true assault rifle, not like some sort of tac stance build. There's some strafe build. We're trying to use this as a true AR, so we got this one down here that increased our bullet velocity and range, our gun kick control, our recoil control, and our firing aiming stability. I mean, you really can't go wrong with this thing. I mean, it's going to be a very easy gun to be able to use, and it's got some great damage range on there, putting you out to almost at 1,000 meters per second in our bullet velocity, which is really good. And so your shots are just going to hit real fast, and it's just a great overall assault rifle. Now we're going to go on down here and throw on the Brune Heavy Support Grip for our third attachment, just really helping stabilize the gun out. This is an attachment we run on a variety of our different ARs. There's for good reason, because it's just the most tried and true standardized thing. I know some people like some of the different grips in here because there's like a plethora of them, but the Brune Heavy Support Grip, after everything's been data mined and tested, is just the most ideal grip to be able to run, with the least amount of downsides to it. So now we're going down here and run the 45 round mag here just to increase our overall magazine ammo capacity. I wish this had a 50 or a 60 round mag, because this gun definitely could utilize it. It's got a high fire rate, but that is what it is. And lastly, for our final attachment, we're using the brand new weekly challenge optic. I believe it's about week 4 or whatever it is. It's the Jack Glassless optic. So this is an optic straight out of pretty much Advanced Warfare. This thing almost looks like it's 3D printed, but this is a great optic. You guys should 110% unlock this, because this is great for guns that have very little recoil, like the BP-50 or aka the F2000. And you can also put it on the MW2 guns, which will have a little bit more recoil anyways, and it'll make them feel like they have less recoil. So that's something you guys should take note of. But let's actually show you guys my final full build right here, and of course I'll hop into the firing range. I'll then showcase this to you guys. So put on some dummy settings up here to 3 plates. We can be able to see that this is a great gun. And keep in mind, I probably won't strafe too much. Actually, I'll do it here a little bit, but look at that. And then for the final target down there, I mean, pretty easy to be able to use right there. 45 rounds in the mag. And like I said, it feels kind of like a laser just because, the blueprint variant and stuff like that, but this is just such a wonderful gun. All right, next up here, let's hop straight into the firing range here. We'll just keep it right here. We have the AMR-9, which is another great gun. Of course, we have this new optic on it, which makes guns that have more recoil fairly easy to be able to use. So it's going to have a little bit of recoil to it. You have to be able to control it, but otherwise this is a really high mobility, high damage build. So hopping in here to our first attachment, we have that ZEM 35 compensated flash hider. So this is not going to be like a silencer, but it's going to shorten our overall radar ping, which I didn't really feel like having a regular compensator was that big of an issue, but this just has so many benefits to it that, and so it kind of like keeps us off the radar, which is really great, but it also helps us out tremendously with our vertical and our horizontal recoil and just the overall stability of the gun. It helps us out here with that 5% in our horizontal and our 15% in our vertical, because you lose quite a bit here when you have a high mobility AMR-9 build, and that's really, in my opinion, the only way to make this thing really a good SMGs, because otherwise it's just too slow, and I don't like using slow SMGs. That's why I've gone for like the HRM, normally speaking, or the Ram 9, because they're just more mobile. After that, we're gonna go on down here. We're gonna throw on that DR6 hand stop, which if you guys want maybe, let's say, a little bit more recoil control, you could probably go for something like, I don't know, maybe the F-Tac MSP98 or the X10 Phantom 5. Pretty much any of these in here, you can kind of throw on your SMGs interchangeably, and it'll make minor differences and variances to the build. So you can't really go wrong, but you don't really need to go past pretty much the X10 Phantom 5. These four right here is really all you need to worry about. I frequently alternate between the DR6 and the XRK Edge as my go-to. Not really as much that F-Tac right there, but overall, this is a really solid underbarrel, and I really like running the DR6. Of course, we're gonna go down here and throw on the 50 round mag here. There's no reason, absolutely no reason, you guys are throwing the 100 round drum. That just does not make sense. So stay to that 50 round mag, just keep it very simple. You're gonna be too slow, and the primary point of an SMG when you make it an SMG for close quarters is to be mobile. I see people build their guns and they're just very slow. It's like, what's the point of having an SMG if it's basically the same speed as an assault rifle? It doesn't make sense. So for a fourth attachment here, though, we have, like I said, that Jack glassless optic. I believe the AMR9 pretty much needs an optic anyways, because the iron sights are absolute garbage. They're super hard to see through, and I never have liked them. So we always have to throw an optic on here. If you guys don't happen to have that Jack glassless, throw in something like a slate reflector, a NIDAR model 2023. Pretty much any of that stuff is going to be great. So just throw on that and you'll be good to go. And lastly, because, you know, we have the compensator and everything, we have to be able to, you know, speed up this gun. And what's really speeding it up is that demo D50 buffer tube. So this gives us a crazy increase to our overall mobility here. That's all stuff that's kind of behind my face cam, but I mean, we're getting percentages that are green for everything in the mobility and handling, a little bit in our accuracy, but you do lose a lot of that recoil control, which you guys can see next to my face cam. So that's why we had at least that compensator on there to kind of help stabilize this thing out. So it'll still kick a little bit, but when you're moving around getting the rotational aim assist and in game, you really shouldn't notice it all that much. It's just overall a really good gun that you should definitely be trying. So this is my full build right here. Hope you guys enjoy this one. All right, next up, we're taking a look at a new and improved Ram 7 build. I know a lot of you guys really enjoy running the Ram 7, myself included, one of my favorite ARs, but let's show you guys this. And that's without me moving back and forth or trying to control really the recoil with my rotational aim assist. That's just me pulling down on the stick. So hopping into it here for our first attachment is the ZEM 35 once again. This, funny enough, actually works out very, very nicely on this Ram 7. You'll be able to say, like, you know, Chuck, this, you lose like bullet velocity with this thing here. But if we open up the detailed statistics, we only lose 5% of our overall bullet velocity, putting us still at 930 meters per second, which doesn't really make that big of a difference because the other attachment we'd be using is the costless brake, which keeps us at 978. So if you want a little bit more recoil, but don't mind losing like a few meters per second, which is pretty much like not noticeable, just go for the ZEM 35 and you're gonna get some improved horizontal and vertical recoil, which the costless brake actually does not give you any vertical recoil. So you lose a little bit on the horizontal, be gaining some of the vertical, making it easier to be able to kind of level out. Just one of those things between the costless brake and the ZEM 35. You can't go wrong between either of them, but this is a nice updated attachment for this gun. Next up, we're gonna go through on that Cronin head with long barrel. This is what gives us that massive increase to our overall bullet velocity and range. All the good fun jazz. So I highly recommend for you guys to run this. This is pretty much the only barrel I run. I don't really believe in running that XRK core mark. I mean, I don't really like that. I mean, I like my shots to be able to hit more. I mean, you can see we get a plus 12, 13, and 15% right here in our overall range. But what I'm really concerned with is getting more range out of this thing. And we get a plus 21, 21, and 26%, which in my opinion is what, you know, the AR is used for, is those range, is that range. So, you know, I think you should definitely be running this. Now we're gonna go on down here and throw on that Bruin Heavy support grip. This is just, like I said, one of those things we've run on so many of our different guns. Ran on the BP50, we're running it on this. Now we're going down, throw on the 60 round drum. There's no reason for you guys to ever go for that 40 round mag on this thing. Doesn't make sense. Don't ever do it. You need the 60 rounds in your primary assault rifle. You're going to be using all of it. I'm telling you this right now, especially if you're playing trios and quads, you are going to be burning through that magazine. So don't ever short yourself out by going for a 40 and thinking, oh, I'm going to get more mobility out of this. No, if you want to be able to run around faster, pull out your SMG. Like that's really that. And if you're running around with a sniper, I mean, build the actual sniper support build. And even then, from the 60 round mag. So don't do that. Now for our last attachment, we have the HVS 3.4 pad, which is just going to stabilize the gun out here once again. And we get a plus 20% to our overall recoil gun kick, 8% and 8% for a horizontal and vertical. and that just stabilizes it out, making it more of a laser beam. Of course, it's not going to be literal zero recoil, but it's going to be very easy to use. And if you just pull down on the stick, kind of counteract the recoil, doing the opposite of what it does, you should be able to hit a lot of shots and have a very, very lethal Ram 7 build and shot. Now we're going to take a look here at the Striker 9. I don't want to show you guys repeat SMGs here, so take a look at the Striker 9, which actually is a meta SMG, and I got a great build here for it. So let's check this thing out. I mean, look at that. Talk about a laser beam. That's just with me like barely pulling down on that stick. Barely pulling down. All right, first attachment on here. I mean, look at, what do you know? It's that Zem 35. This thing is just great for everything. So I'm not gonna explain this one, but it works out great here. If you guys don't want to do that, you can actually go for the Shadow Strike suppressor. If you just want to truly stay off the radar, not deal with anything that Zem has, this will be the one attachment in this build which you can just switch out perfectly fine with no issues. After that, we're gonna go throw on that Striker Recon long barrel, just kind of extend out that range. What we really look for here is that you see that effective damage range stat at 12.6 meters. That is pretty much the first damage drop off, like to the point where like that is our highest damage up to that 12.6 meters. So the more we can extend that out, the better you are at close range, getting the highest amount of damage into somebody. So the more we can extend that, the better. I mean, obviously certain guns have a cost to it, like with the AMR9, you don't want to throw in a giant barrel because that'll be super piss poor slow. But for this gun, it actually works out well and you don't slow yourself down too much. So that's why we got that on there. It extends out that range. Now we're going down, throwing the XRK Edge. This is just one of those things to speed up this gun. Overall aim walking speed boost, movement speed, ADS speed, and sprint to fire speed. Great things for an SMG, so we really ain't gonna talk about this too much. We're gonna throw on, of course, the 50 round drum down here just to increase our overall magazine ammo capacity. No reason for you guys to throw on that 40. Just don't do it. I've never even thought about doing that. It just doesn't really make that much of a difference. This is already a pretty mobile SMG, and we're not too concerned with having 10 less rounds in the mag. Also, this is a pretty high fire rate gun, so we need those extra 10 anyways. Lastly, for our final attachment, we're throwing that Socken ZX grip here, which is truthfully going to really stabilize the gun out even more so than it was. So that's why I said you could get away with taking off that Zem and throwing on the Shadow Strike and be good in that regard. But overall, plus 10%, 7 and 7% for our recoil control benefits, which is really good. So this is my full build right here. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Give it a try. All right, last but definitely not least, we're using the MTZ 762. So this is a great gun right here. This can be super hard hitter. So I mean, you can just tell. As long as you pull down on that recoil a bit, I mean, you're going to be beaming. First attachment in here is going to be the Casus Break L. This is going to stabilize this gun out, making sure that our horizontal recoil is within check. We don't need this thing to be bouncing around more than it already does, because you do have to pull down and to the left on the stick. So we're trying to really just stabilize that out so we don't really have to compensate as much for that forward and backward, or I mean, my bad, left to right, as opposed to just up and down. Now we're gonna go in here, we're gonna throw on the MTZ Precision Blackthorn barrel. This is gonna extend out our range quite a bit. So we're over 1,000 meters per second. So that means like with a fully automatic gun having over 1,000 meters per second and your minimum damage range being 23 meters, I mean, or 55, my bad, and your effective damage range being 23, you're really gonna be pushing people down, and it's gonna be great. Like you're gonna be getting like 2-3 downs per mag, especially if you had that 40 round mag, you know, that glitch blueprint saved like myself. You're going to be in business. Next up, we're throwing that Bruin Heavy support grip here. This is just a tried and true underbarrel. Run this all the time, so I ain't got to explain this one. What I was referring to here at that 40 round mag, there was that blueprint glitch. So I saved the blueprint. They just pretty much took the magazine from the conversion kit and saved it over. So there's no damage or any other benefits to it. It just gives me 10 extra rounds in the mag. So if you guys don't have that saved, you can't do it anymore. I'm sorry, but and if you don't have that, just throw on the 30 round mag and this will still be a great assault rifle. Otherwise, I ran it tons before this thing was even, you know, this glitch was even a thing or even had that blueprint saved. So just go ahead and run this. Lastly, of course, we're going to be using that Jack Glassless optic. It just minimizes visual recoil, makes the series super able to down people very easily, and I like that a lot. So this is just a great attachment. You can run on, like I said, a variety of different guns, but this has been my full top 5. If you guys enjoyed this one, give it a like, subscribe, notifications turned on, check out this other video on screen. I'll see you all next time.